पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्ता नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः शिलाटङ्कानखालाय हितो नृसिंहा परतो नृसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नृसिंहा बहि नृसिंहा हृदये नृसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नखा अद्भुत शृङ्गारं दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नृसिंहदेव 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 जय नृसिंहदेव जय प्रह्लाद नारायण प्रह्लाद नारायण वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय केशवशः विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवशः विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवशः विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्णा सेवा पावो ए अभिलाषी जे तुम्हार शरण लाय तारा वंशा पुनः कृपा करी करो तारे वृंदावनवासी मोरैया विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हेरिबो सदा युगल रूप राशि हे निवेदन धरो सखीरानुगत करो सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी दीन कृष्ण दास कर जय नमो रहाय श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदये न भाषी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदाये न भाषी यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवते
हमारे
बस गीता मेरे प्रभु पूछ रहे हैं कि वो जो 2 डिवोटीज की अभी दीक्षा होगी कितने बजे उस हिसाब से वो प्रिपेयर रहेंगे। आप अभी दर्शनार्थी जाएंगे उसके बाद या
नहीं जाएंगे मंगलारती रहेगा। पूजा के बाद करा
कितने बजे महाराज? 7 बजे बोल देता हूँ। हाँ जी महाराज। हाँ हाँ जी हाँ जी।
विच कार इज गोइंग?
विच कार मतलब आप ही की गाड़ी जाती है ड्राइव, तो वो आप ही की गाड़ी करते हैं। हाँ
Okay.
7 बजे बोल दूँ महाराज। हाँ आज राधे श्याम प्रभु भी आ रहे हैं, फिर उसके बाद वो अपर में श्याम प्रभु भी हैं, फिर अर्जुन हरि प्रभु भी हैं। ठीक है।
Rishi Kumar Prabhu called up. He's saying that Radheshyam Prabhu would come to meet you at 7:45 because he has a flight at 11:30 from T3, so you would have to leave early.
7:45.
Yes, 7:45.
That's okay. Tell him I give him initiation, no problem. That's that.
Yes ma'am.
So let him come at 4 to 7.
ठीक है मैम।
Well, I will come at 4 to 2. I will come at what time?
8 बजे यहाँ से निकलेंगे मंदिर से। आपसे मिलके सीधे यहाँ से निकल जाएंगे। थोड़ा
Yes.
नहीं वो ड्रेस अलग था, वो रानी कलर था, ये पिंक कलर।
Akshaya Tritiya is a very auspicious and pure day. It is the perfect day for all auspicious activities in which we don't need to follow any moral. On this day, if we do chanting, austerity, and donations,
ऐड करे तो नहीं लगेगा।
और राधे श्याम प्रभु हैं, उसके बाद वो मोहन गौरचंद्र वो पूछ रहे थे किस टाइम आएगी क्योंकि जल्दी निकलना है। फिर अपर में श्याम है और फिर अर्जुन हरि प्रभु। नहीं मेरा ऐसे नहीं, कल भी आपका वेट किया, आज भी करेंगे, बट एक टाइम बता देंगे तो वो अपना प्लान कर सकते हैं। राधे श्याम प्रभु के बाद मिल सकते हैं या उसके बाद जैसे
it will give many fold benefits as it will usually
मैसेज कर रहा हूँ दोनों दे देंगे।
It will give many fold benefits as it will usually give, because on this day the moon and the sun are at their topmost position. Akshaya Tritiya means immortal, so whatever you do on that day becomes permanent. the start of the universe and the yugas. On this day, many great incidents happened, like on this day itself, Brahma started creating the universe. Second, the 4 yugas, Satyayug, Treta, Dwapar and Kalyug start on this day. This is why the day is also known as Yugadi, which means Yuga begins from this day. The appearance of Lord Parashuram. Third is the Lord Parshuram also appeared on this day. Lord Parshuram is the son of Jamdagni, and Jamdagni is the son of Rishi Richik Muni. Richik Muni was married to Satyavati. Richik Muni gave Satyavati a payasam to eat and told her that she would get a divine Brahman son if she had it. At that time, Satyavati's mother was also there, and she was the Kshatriya queen. Richik Muni gave payasam to her too and told her that she would get a very good Kshatriya son if you have this. Satyavati's mother thought that Richik gave his wife a better payasam than her. So Satyavati's mother asked Satyavati to exchange their payasam, and she did. Richik Muni returned and got to know about this incident. He got very angry and cursed his wife that he would get a Brahmin son, but he would be a Kshatriya. Satyavati asked for forgiveness and let her son be a Brahmin, but his grandson could be a Kshatriya. Richik Muni agreed. So Lord Parshuram was that grandson of Satyavati who was Kshatriya. One day a king came to Jamdagni, and Rishi Jamdagni offered him a variety of delicious dishes. King was astonished and asked how he got so many good dishes. He replied, I have a divine cow who gives me all. The king thought that this cow should belong to him, and so he took that cow. When Lord Parshuram got to know about this incident, he got extremely angry and went to the king and killed him. The king, however, was not ordinary. He had defeated Ravana too. When Jamdagni got to know about this, he was upset and said to Parshuram, you shouldn't have killed the king. The king has the right on his kingdom. So he asked Parshuram to do austerity in the jungle. The king had thousands of sons, so he decided to kill Rishi Jamdagni and kill him. When Lord Parshuram came back from his austerity, he became very angry about this and killed all the sons of that king. He decided to banish all the Kshatriyas from this earth, and he did. This great Lord Parshuram appeared on Akshaya Tritiya. Then the appearance of Mother Ganga. Ganga Mother appeared on this day. The story behind Pavan Sarovar. Also, one day Lord Krishna in Bal or childhood age asked his father Nand Maharaj, where are you going? Mother told me that you are going to Prayag. Nand Maharaj replied, yes, I am going to Prayag. Lord Krishna then said, why are you going to Prayag? Nand Maharaj said, Prayag is the king of all pilgrimages, and I want to take bath in its holy water and get liberated. Lord Krishna asked his father to go tomorrow, so he agreed. The next day, when Nand Maharaj woke up and went to take a bath in his pond, bright light and huge man appeared. Nand Maharaj humbly asked, who are you? He replied, I am Prayag, and I come once in a year to bridge on Akshaya Tritiya and get myself clean in the dust of bridge, which makes me more pious and clean. And on this day, Nand Sarovar's name has been changed to Pavan Sarovar. Shriman Vedvyas started writing Mahabharata on Akshaya Tritiya only. This great incident happened on this day. Bhakti, the eternal happiness. Everything in this world is mortal, which means get destroyed. But this that can never be destroyed is bhakti. So we call bhakti ashray. If one starts even little bhakti, even type of fear disappears from our life, and he doesn't have to take birth again and again in this material world. This is permanent happiness. People drink alcohol and get happy, but that happiness is temporary. As soon as the effect of alcohol goes away, you feel sadness. So if you want real happiness, permanent happiness, on this auspicious day of Akshaya Tritiya, we should do bhakti to give us extreme happiness. Another one. Akshaya Tritiya Vrat Katha. In Sanatan Dharma, Akshaya Tritiya fast is considered very special and the Lord is worshipped on this day with reverence. It is said that Akshaya Tritiya is virtuous on this day. There is a law to read stories with worship. The holy festival of Akshaya Tritiya is celebrated all over India. In Hinduism, this festival is considered very special, which falls every year on the third date of Vaishakh month. Talking about Akshaya Tritiya, Akshay means that there is no decay or destruction. This year,
again,
Akshay means there is no destruction. This
paper.
yes. This year on Akshaya Tritiya, 3 special yogas are also being made along with Abhuja Murt, known about the auspicious and special yoga of shopping on Akshaya Tritiya. The festival of Akshaya Tritiya is eagerly awaited every year. This year, many rare yogas are going to be formed on the day of Akshaya Tritiya. As per the Bhavishya Puran is very popular. It is said that a long time ago there lived a Vaishya named Dharmadas, who was very charitable in nature. One day he came to know about the importance of Akshaya Tritiya, that worshipping God and Brahmins on this day of Shukla Paksh of Vaishakh month, and by making donations gives Akshay fruit. When he came to know about this, he started doing Akshaya Tritiya fast with full rituals and started donating materials like sattu, gram, wheat, curd, jaggery, etc.
वो एयर प्यूरिफायर लगाना एक्चुअली
Meanwhile, his wife forbade him a lot, but she did not agree and completed the fast of Akshaya Tritiya with reverence. After some time, he died, and it is said that some days later he was born full time as a king in some city of Dwarka. It is said that he got Raj Yoga as a result of fasting on Akshaya Tritiya. This is another story. Akshaya Tritiya or Akha Teej is the day when the Varshitap Tapasvis shall have pranas with sugarcane juice. After the Lord Rishabdev did it with 400 upvas, but he has been kind enough on us to provide us a way to do an upvas on alternate days. Yes, Maharaja, now the things have completed. That is all repetition. Now there is only one economics article which says that how gold prices rise on Akshaya Tritiya. That is all is left. Otherwise, all sites are having same information. Yes, sir. Gold wala? Yes. एक second. Gold outlooks on Akshaya Tritiya, geopolitics, risk, inflation, key drivers. This is an article from Financial Express. Gold is one of the earliest traded assets which is much loved by Indians. And with Akshaya Tritiya around the corner, we have one more reason to buy gold. The yellow metal carries a traditional and cultural value for most of us. It adds to the asset value of the individual, of the family, even a business. It offers best investment returns too. It is too considered to be a symbol of prosperity and wealth. Akshaya Tritiya is marked as an important day in Hindu calendar. It is known as Akha Teej. For ages, buying gold on Akshaya Tritiya has been considered an auspicious activity and believed to bring more fortune. Akshaya Tritiya is one day that is auspicious on the whole. That is, no muhurat is needed to start a new venture or purchase anything special. On this day, people start their new business so that it begins on a good day and everything that follows is good. As seen here, gold has given positive returns to investors over a period of 5 years. Looking at the current global economic background, we are of the opinion that gold may continue to give positive returns for some more period. The investment demand has grown multifold ever since the world has hit with a pandemic. While traditional yield and currency drivers suggest bullion is overvalued, demand for the haven asset remains strong. That's because gold buyers spilling into exchange traded funds are taking a pessimistic view of the US Federal Reserve's ability to cool decades high inflation without hurting the economy. For them, gold is a hedge coming soaring prices and low growth. The global economic outlook remains murky as a robust recovery from the pandemic is tempered by the war in Ukraine and China's continuing battle against COVID-19. Any escalation in conflict, which is already weighing on growth forecast, could further burnish the appeal of gold. Increasing geopolitical uncertainty following Russia's invasion of Ukraine is also driving strategic portfolio diversification by investors who are less concerned about high real rates. Sanctions on Russia could also herald a more far-reaching shift that bolsters bullion. The seizure of about half the Russian central bank's foreign exchange reserves will result in a new monetary paradigm where gold plays a greater role. The current price has less to do with inflation and rising yields and more to do with geopolitical risk and the Russian central bank pivoting towards accumulating alternative sources of wealth. The outlook of the Fed meeting will be gold's next big test as policymakers seek to tame inflation. Money market traders are betting the US. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And firstly, where you read from Wikipedia.
Yes, sir. Three articles were there. One was on the significance, another was the transcript on Chandaniyata by Radhanath Maharaj, and third was the Back to God article by Prabhupada. Which one shall I read? All three. Story of Madhvendra Puri by Radhanath Maharaj. Before understanding the mercy of Sri Chaitanya properly, it is very helpful to hear the glorious life of Sri Madhvendra Puri. In fact, yesterday was the disappearance day of Sri Madhvendra Puri. So, on this auspicious time, I would like to briefly narrate, according to the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 4, the story of Madhvendra Puri's devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first visit to Remuna after sannyas. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes here that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he had taken sannyas, he went to the home of Advaitacharya Shantipur. And there it was decided that rather than going to Vrindavan, he would go to Nilachal or Jagannath Puri. So he took 4 of his associates and they began to travel. On this day, immersed in ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing wonderful kirtans and they were stopping at many holy places. And they came to a very important holy place which is in Orissa. It is near the village of Balasore and it is called Remuna. It was at Remuna that the very famous and celebrated deity of Gopinath was residing within a temple. So they visited and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the beautiful form of Sri Gopinathji and he offered his prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet. And just when he offered his obeisances, a helmet of flowers fell from Gopinath's head and fell upon the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this incident transformed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart into such a grateful state of love that he began beautiful kirtan, dancing in transcendental ecstasy. And all the pujaris and all the village people gathered around. Never had they seen such beauty, such grace, and such transformations of divine love. They spent the night there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very anxious to receive the famous form of Mahaprasad that is served there. Every day they offered Gopinath 12 earthen pots of sweet rice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to taste that. So while they were waiting, he narrated to his devotees a story that he had heard from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri about Sri Madhvendra Puri's devotional service. Glories of Govind Kund. He described that Sri Madhvendra Puri at one time travelled to Vrindavan and he came upon a hill known as Govardhan. When he saw the Govardhan hill, which is non-different from the body of Sri Krishna, he was maddened in transcendental love. Sometimes he stood up, sometimes he fell down, and he was crying tears from the heart. Madhvendra Puri's position is so special and his love was so unique in this world. Although Madhvendra Puri appeared and took initiation within the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, the understanding of the conjugal love affairs of Radha and Krishna and the awakening of the conjugal rasa within one's own heart had never appeared within this Sampradaya until Sri Madhvendra Puri revealed it to the world. So after circumambulating the Govardhan hill, Madhvendra Puri went to Govind Kund. That is the place where Indra, after seeking shelter of Sri Krishna, he had sent the Samvarta clouds due to being humiliated by the Lord. His pride smashed in order to destroy all of grudge. But Krishna effortlessly lifted the Govardhan hill with the little finger of his left hand and called all the cows and all the Brajabasis under the hill, where they were safely and peacefully remained for 7 days, while the thunder and the rains were pouring down. And at last, Indra, seeking that this small 7-year-old child was none other than the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Almighty and All-Powerful Godhead, came down and begged his forgiveness. And in Govind Kund, Indra performed the Abhishek ceremony of Lord Shri Krishna, Madhvendra Puri's first darshan of Gopal. So, to this day, it is one of the most holy of all places on the earth. Madhvendra Puri sat to take his bath at Govind Kund. After taking his bath, he sat beneath the tree to take his rest, and while he was sitting beneath the tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk and placed it before Madhvendra Puri. So this cowherd boy with a smile addressed Sri Madhvendra Puri. He said, "Please drink this milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you doing?" When Madhvendra Puri saw that the boy saw the boy, he became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting?" The boy replied, "Sir, I am a cowherd boy and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. In this village, a person can beg from other person and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. The woman who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk, and they sent me to you. I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this pot of milk from you." Saying this, the boy left, and he could no longer be seen. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside, and he looked towards the path. The boy never returned. Gopal appears in Madhavendra Puri's dream. Then Madhavendra Puri sat under the tree and began to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And at the end of the night, he dozed a little, and his external activities stopped. And in a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the same boy. The boy came to him, holding his hand, and took him into the jungle. And then the boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, "I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rains, showers, wind, and scorching heat. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of the bush. Tell them to take me out of this bush, then have them situate me nicely on the top of a hill. Please construct a temple on the hill and install me in that temple. After this wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come to serve me? I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. My name is Gopal. I am the lifter of Govardhan. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. When the Mohammedans attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in the bush in the jungle, and then he ran away out of fear of attack. Since the priest went away, I have been staying here in the bush, and it's very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care." After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream. He began to lament, "I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him." Thus he fell down to the ground in ecstatic love. Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Lord Gopal. Thus he became tranquil. This is very important. A devotee is more concerned with executing the order of Guru and Krishna when rendering service to Krishna than he is with enjoying the ecstasies of Krishna consciousness. In this way, a devotee does not want to exploit Krishna for spiritual happiness, but rather a devotee is willing to even engage in all sorts of sufferings if that is what is required to execute the will of Lord Shri Krishna. So Madhavendra Puri fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. And after taking his morning bath, he entered the village and assembled with all the people. And he spoke to them. He told them that the proprietor of the village, Govardhan Dhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go and rescue him from that place. He told them that the bushes are very dense and they should bring choppers and spades to clear the way. After hearing this, with great pleasure, all the villagers followed Madhavendra Puri. They cut through the jungle to make the path, and when they saw the deity covered with dirt and grass. They were all struck with wondering pleasure. After they cleansed the body of Gopal, they realized that the deity is very heavy, and no person could move him. So some of the stronger men came to carry him to the top of the hill, and a big stone was made for a throne, and another stone was made behind for a support. Installation ceremony of Gopal deity. Then the Brahmins gathered according to Gopal's instructions. 900 pots of cool water from Govind Kund was brought, and they were collecting these pots. There was beautiful kirtan, musical instruments, and the singing of women, and thus the festival of installation took place. Some sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurts, and ghee from the entire village were brought to the festival. Various foods and sweetmeats and all other kinds of presentations were brought there. They brought large quantities of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garlands. And then Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek ceremony. First, they dispelled all inauspiciousness by the chanting of the mantras. Then the deity was massaged with large quantity of oil so that his body becomes shiny. After the first bathing, they bathed him with Panchgavya. Panchgavya means cow dung, cow urine, ghee, yogurt, and milk. Then they bathed him with Panchamrit, which is made of the 5 kinds of nectar, including ghee, yogurt, milk, honey, and sugar. And they bathed him over 100 pots of water, scented with the fine oils as well as with ghee. This is called the Mahasnan. After the Mahasnan was finished, they again massaged Gopal's body with scented oil. Then again, the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept in a conch shell. After the deity was cleansed, he was dressed nicely with new garments, and sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flower garlands were placed on the body of the deity. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incenses and lamps were burnt, and all the kinds of food were offered before the deity. These food included yogurt and milk and many sweetmeats as they received. As soon as the people of the village understood that the deity was to be installed, they brought the entire stock of all their food, all rice, all dal, and all vegetables, and they prepared preparations that covered the entire surface of the top of the Govardhan hill. Selfless service of Brajvasis. You see, the villagers, they were not concerned in the typical greedy way with the economic development. They were truly Brajvasis in the sense that they knew that everything is simply meant for the pleasure of Shri Krishna. Rupa Goswami says, if you surrender everything you have to Krishna, do not think that you will be a loser. You'll gain millions of times. So here we find all the villagers. They brought everything they had, all their wealth, all their foodstuffs, jewelry, fine cloth, garments, simply offering it to Gopal with not even a thought that how will he survive. Bhagavatam explains, if you water the root of the tree, the whole tree is nourished. If you satisfy Krishna, there is nothing to fear. Krishna is the ultimate provider of everything. Not a blade of grass can move without his sanction. So this was the faith of Brajvasis, and this is the faith that is required to actually attract the heart of Govinda. This faith that we have nothing to hold back, everything is Krishna's. But let us offer everything. It is sometimes said that Krishna does not see how much you give him, but sees how much you hold back. The mood of Brajvasis is, let us give everything to Gopal, and they just were so happy. For them, it was not an austerity; it was a joy to please Krishna. And in the morning, they cooked. In the morning, the cooking began. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains, 5 brahmanas cooked all the dry and liquid vegetables, and Krishna Goswami describes all the varieties of preparations that were made. He cannot describe them all, and huge quantities of chapatis, which was sufficiently covered with ghee, as were all the vegetables, the rice and the dal. Ankud ceremony for Gopal. They made big mountains of rice, and around the mountain of rice there were all the chapatis, the rotis, and all other varieties of vegetables, sweetmeats, and everything. Pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, sweet rice, cream, and solid cream were placed alongside the vegetables, and in this way, the Anukut ceremony was performed by Sri Madhavendra Puri, and he personally offered everything to Gopal. Then they offered him scented water for drinking, and they were in the consciousness that Gopal had been hungry for many days. You see, the true standard of deity worship was not only in the observance of rules and regulations that must be there, but in the true standard of deity worship is that the condition of the heart. Whether we have the realization or not, we must have the faith in the Shastras. साढ़े 6 बजे आने दीक्षा लेने को।
7 बजे बोले मानो 7 बजे
ठीक है
7 बजे आने मानो बोले।
That must be there. But the true standard of deity worship is the condition of the heart. Whether we have the realization or not, we must have the faith in the Shastras, in the previous Acharyas, in the Guru and the Vaishnavas, that the Murti of Gopal or Sri Krishna is non-different from Krishna. And out of his great kindness, he is assuming a helpless position just to accept our love and devotion. The origin of love of Godhead, Shri Radhika. So, Madhavendra Puri and all the Brajvasis were very conscious that poor Gopal, he was in the heat and the cold, and the winds and the rains. No one gave him any food, no one gave him any water for so many days. So to satisfy him, to please him, they were preparing enormous amounts of prasad, enormous amounts of scented water, wonderful bathing ceremony. It was all done in this consciousness that he is a person. He is the supreme person, Purushottam. He is the beloved of our heart, the beloved of our lives. And our perfection and our pleasure in life is only to the extent that we can please him. Of course, this consciousness originates in Srimati Radharani. She is the Bhakta Rupa. She is the personification and the storehouse of all the love and devotion. And it is through her that the spirit of complete sacrifice and love for pleasure of Govinda originates. Radha is non-different than Krishna. They are the one supreme person. Krishna is the supreme object of love, and Shri Radharani is the supreme lover. So, therefore, great souls like Madhavendra Puri, they are by mercy of Radharani empowered with this spirit of hers in minute ways. Just as the Jivatma is part and parcel of Krishna, all bhakti, all devotion, all love is part and parcel of the supreme whole of Shri Radhika's love, which is simply how to satisfy Krishna, how to please Krishna in the most personal and wonderful way. How Gopal ate everything that was offered, mountains of food, bhoga, that covered the entire surface of the top of Govardhan hill. And Madhavendra Puri, by his transcendental vision, by the mercy of the Lord, was able to perceive how Gopal ate everything, yet allowed everything to remain as it is, was his Mahaprasad. Kaviraj Goswami explains this wonderful festival was all held in one day, and he described how impossible it was to do by the inconceivable potency of Gopal. Although no one could understand it, it was done. Lord inconceivable potency. Similarly, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a story of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Once in the morning, he approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to invite him for prasad at noon, and when Lord Gauranga came, there was such an immense display of Maharaja prasad before the mountain. Hundreds and hundreds of preparations, most expertly prepared, and it was all made by Sarvabhauma and his wife. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You just invited me a few hours ago, and how is it possible? It would have taken 10 Brahman men 10 days to cook all these food. How have you made it in just few hours?" And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, being a true devotee, replied that he, for whom this food is meant to be served to, he has cooked it all. I only collected the ingredients. In other words, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, it is by your mercy that it is all done. We are all here to see as your assistant. So Madhavendra Puri had this realization as he was the impossible. So Madhavendra Puri had this realization as he saw the impossible become possible right now before his eyes. And then Madhavendra Puri offered Gopal the water for washing his mouth, and then the arti was performed by Srila Madhavendra Puri himself. And one second, the Shafta Puru's call. Hare Krishna. हाँ बिठा दिया बिठा दिया हाँ मैं देखा he was saying that the devotees are come, so let them sit in the waiting hall. They are sitting there.
Two devotees.
Yes. So Madhavendra Puri had the realization as he saw the impossible became possible right before his eyes. And then Madhavendra Puri offered Gopal the water for washing his mouth. And then the Aarti ceremony was performed by Srila Madhavendra Puri himself. And everyone was chanting Jai Gopal, Jai Gopal. And then arranging for Gopal's rest, Madhavendra Puri brought a new cot and constructed a small little temple around the cot so that Gopal could have a nice and comfortable private place to rest. And then Sri Madhavendra Puri, he instructed that we must now. He gathered all the Brahmanas who had cooked all the prasad and said, now we must feed everyone sumptuously. From the children up to the aged, and all the people gathered there sat down to honor the prasad, and they took the food. And the Brahmanas and their wives ate first. Not only did the people of Govardhan Hill take prasad in the village, but those who came from other villages, hearing about this festival, they all came. They all saw the deity of Gopal and were all offered sumptuous prasad. And seeing the influence of Madhavendra Puri's love and devotion, they had attracted Gopal to appear within their midst. They were all struck with wonder. Compassion of pure devotees. This is also very important principle. How does Krishna come to our lives? Gopal came into the lives of all these Brajvasis because of the love and devotion of Madhavendra Puri. So similarly, those pure Vaishnavas who have sacrificed everything in the loving service of the Lord, Krishna appears through them to deliver the people in general. In fact, it is by the great worship of Sri Advaita Acharya, appealing and begging for Krishna to come to this earth, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. It was by the prayers of Prahlad and Nrsimhadev appeared. It was by the prayers of Aditi that Vamandev appeared. We find that all these great avatars, they all appeared simply to satisfy the prayers of the devotees. Their prayer is always a prayer of great compassion and love for others who have fallen into the lap of Maya.